Hello, this is Mary Bigelow coming to you from Coopersville, Michigan. Today I'm presenting my final presentation for my online certification at Grand Rapids Community College. The course I teach is Wind Energy Technology. This is a relatively new course at the college. I've run a few ground classes. We've had some low enrollment, and I kind of feel that an online course may increase the enrollment. So the students will start on the announcement page, and I have a welcome post, and then I also have a WIMBA voice announcement for orientation. In this announcement, I walk the students through the course menu and let them know what each tab is going to contain in it. This is something I haven't done clearly enough in previous classes, and I think it's going to be very helpful. Feel free to listen to the announcement and let me know what you think. I'd love to have your feedback on it. From that announcement, I send the students to the assignment menu, where they will find an orientation folder. In the orientation folder, I liked the self-assessment or readiness survey that you did in your course, and I will model a survey very similar to yours. Or if you have the file, you can send me. I'd love to be able to just upload it ready as it is. I again outline the course structure for the students so they know what they're going to be responsible for each week. And I have them read the syllabus and read the course schedule, and then they will also post a blog. The syllabus and the course schedule are found in the course information folder. The syllabus is much the same as I use for my ground course. I've made some changes. I think you've seen them already. Course outcomes are all listed on the syllabus, so they know exactly what we're going to be doing. They learn how they're going to be evaluated, how many points their presentations are worth, which are really the bulk of my course, is putting together the presentations, because that brings a lot of the materials the students learn together. I discuss, again, from your great ideas, the discussion board, and give them a grading scale, and also what the modules will be each week. And then I go into the course policies. Under the course schedule, I have the matrix that I put together. I've not put the resources in yet. There's not a lot of textbook materials I found that really follow the course that I teach. So I use a lot of different resources, such as websites, journal articles. There's a couple industry publications that I like to refer the students to. But as you can see, each week the students are basically following the same type of activity just as you did in your course. I really liked that. And it helped me organize what I want to provide the students a lot better. At the end of the outcome sheet here, I list all the outcomes. The numbers are referenced when I list the outcomes by the week. So that is student outcomes. If we go back to the orientation folder, their first assignment then is to post a blog. This is something I normally do in my ground classes, where I have the class go around and introduce themselves and explain why they're taking the course. Some students take it just because they need to pick up a couple of credits. Others take it because they really want to learn about the industry. It's also nice to know if they work outside of school, and if they do, what field they're in. I seem to have a real good mix of students from age 20 to 65. It's been very exciting for me. And that concludes the course orientation, and gives the students the template elements that are required by the contract. Next, we'll go back to the assignments, and I will share with you the module that I put together. I chose to do components. And I begin with just kind of a basic discussion about what a wind turbine actually does. It grasps the kinetic energy in the wind, changes it to mechanical energy, which converts it to electrical energy. And then I discuss the law of conservation of energy, which says energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes forms. And then I share with the students United States energy consumption by source. And you can see the majority of our consumption is from non-renewable sources. We've got a long way to go to catch up with what the rest of the world is doing. The first assignment in this module is for the students to visit the Wind with Miller website. Wind with Miller is really a pretty cool website, put together by the Danish Wind Energy Association, Industry Association. And it's got this little character called Miller. And today Miller is going to show us how a generator works. And there's Miller eating some popcorn, having some snacks. So there's actually an activity here that the students can do. And these are the tools they would need to do that. But Miller talks about how a generator works and lets the students know they're already familiar with generators. And then Miller talks about a dynamo. He says, hey, do you know a dynamo lamp? It never runs out of a battery. As long as the wheel is turning and the dynamo is turned on, you have a light. And then the students are instructed to click Miller. So let's see what happens here. Oh, he's going to show us how it works. The electricity is produced in the dynamo and sent through the wire to the lamp. Maybe you are wondering why there is only one wire when it always takes two to make a circuit. Well, the frame of the bicycle replaces the other wire. Then Miller tells us to click on the dynamo. In fact, the dynamo is very simple. At the bottom, there is a coil, which is a long copper wire on a bobbin. Above the coil, there is a magnet. The magnet and the coil do not touch. A shaft connects the magnet to the driving wheel of the dynamo. So when the wheel is turning, so is the magnet. When the magnet is turning over the coil, electricity is generated in the coil. It is called electrical induction. Maybe you have been wondering what a dynamo has to do with a wind turbine. A dynamo generates power, and so does a wind turbine generator. A dynamo and a generator are actually the same. Inside the generator, there are also magnets moving over the coils. So this is just a very neat website that the students can interact with and learn some basic ideas about the components. And the components can be compared to things they already know. Miller will take them through a nacelle, the rotor, the gear, the generator, the tower, and we'll also talk about wind. The next activity for the students then is to build a wind turbine. And I have attached a file for their turbine kit. Each student will purchase one of these kits as a lab manual, if you will. And they'll use it several times throughout the semester. It'll help teach them some topics, but it also just creates a lot of excitement. The students have a lot of fun when we make the different blades, comparing to see whose blades were better, what shape and design. So it really is a fun interactive activity. And it gets them doing some hands-on things. A lot of the students that take my class really are looking for some more of that hands-on activity. And so this is an activity they're going to do at home, and I am going to need to know that they did that activity. So I have this wind energy journal, and it's in this journal where they're going to post pictures of their projects as we go throughout the semester. This is a picture that I posted of our wind safety training. This gentleman here is doing a self-extraction, and Joel here looks like he's getting ready to go up and do the same thing. So just as a side note, you guys are welcome to come over to the MTech. Our structure is in the atrium, and come see what we do one day. And back to our component. There's my discussion board for this week. I had what are kind of a couple of lame questions. I really need to think out some good questions for components. But for a good start, a little survey to the students now that they've learned some of the components or the major components, what career opportunities they can visualize in the field, and are there areas they have a strong interest in. And on assembling their wind turbine, I'll think of some better questions here, but for now, basically I asked if they had any problems in the assembly, and if they did, how did they overcome the problems. That'll throw out some problem-solving skills to the other students. And if I find everybody's having the same issue, maybe I can warn them about it ahead of time next time. And then before they take the test, I wanted to make sure they reviewed the components again, because I don't think Miller necessarily gives a good definition. Miller gives a great explanation. But to be able to do my component quiz, I will have the students go through the glossary and review the actual definitions that I will be using. And so then they will be assessed through a quiz. And for the components, I thought the best type of quiz would be a matching quiz, where I give them the component and a definition, and they will match those up. For instance, the rotating part of a wind turbine comprising the hub and the blades, that would be the rotor, or G. And this was the first time I created a matching quiz. So that was kind of a fun activity for me also. So to kind of recap it all, I think the Win with Miller site is a great site to motivate the students to learn. It keeps your attention, and it kind of lets them interact and do some fun things. Miller's kind of a goofy guy. Building their turbine is a great motivational tool for how they can apply their learning and learn the different components on a much smaller scale, and something they can do on a smaller scale. We don't have a lot of wind farms close to us, and they will do a tour later in the semester, but in the meantime it gives them some hands-on. Students are given an opportunity through the discussion boards to interact and participate with other students. They can also do this through the Wind Energy Journal. And the students need to demonstrate to me that they've learned the components, and they do that through a quiz. So I think this has been a great course. I think it's given me just a wonderful start on my online course and how to put the different modules together. So if there's any questions that I can answer for you, please feel free to email me. And any comments or feedback that you have for me, I'd love to have. Again, thank you for the course. And carpe ventum, or seize the wind.